I don't care whether you're a beginner or whether you're advanced. I'm going to show you how to make more progress than you ever thought possible. Okay, let's get started. And let's start off with diet, because I don't know why, but if you don't get diet right, nothing seems to go right. Our main goal is to lose body fat. So we want to keep our balance of protein, carbs, and fats at 55, 20, 25, because that's the balance that helps this all to happen.
But as the contest gets drawing closer, then your goal is to get rid of all excess body fat there is, all you can. And the secret to that is not IGF factors. The secret is the ratios. Ratios of proteins to carbohydrates. When bodybuilders in the mid-season, they eat anything, but as the contest gets closer and closer, they're trying to get rid of more and more body fat. And the secret to that is not watch your fats and watch your calories. The secret is your ratios. We learned this from a nutritionist by the name of Rheo H. Blair. This guy knew what he was talking about. Matter of fact, one time he came over to the health club, and, well, let's see, maybe I should tell you this. Rheo's job was to get movie stars ready for a new movie part. And he could get them in shape and looking great for a movie part in something like just a few months. And the problem he had with the movie stars and starlets and so forth was they weren't disciplined enough to stick on his program long enough to see how well it worked. And so he said, I got to find a group of people that are disciplined. And he found out about bodybuilders. And so it just so happened he came over to the health club right where I was training. And he came in and he asked the owner, Vince John, says, could I talk to the guys here? And he says, yeah, go ahead. Go for it. So he came out and he said, how do you guys get ready for a physique contest? And we told him, well, we put on weight first by doing this, and then we cut our fats, and we cut our calories and so forth. And he says, that's not the way to do it. And we said, what do you know about it? I mean, we didn't say that. That was the look we had on our face. And he said, he could see he wasn't getting our attention. He said, I want you to do something. Come over to my office with me. So we went over to his office, and he had one room that was just dedicated to just photos of before and after pictures of starlets and average everyday people. And quite frankly, I looked at those before and after pictures, and I didn't believe they were the same person. And I said, those aren't even the same person, Rheo. And he says, yes, they are. Look carefully. And so I looked carefully on one of them, and I could see a little mole right there on her lip. And I looked over there for after, and sure enough, that was the same person. And I said, and we said, how do you do that anyway? What'd you do? And he says, it's ratios. And we said, tell us about ratios. Now he had our attention. And so he taught us the key was ratios. And we knew ourselves instinctively that as we got closer to contest time, we lived off tuna fish. The only problem with tuna fish is that it costs you more money for breath wafers than for the tuna fish, because you can't stand the way your breath smells when you take that. But it really works. We didn't know about ratios. We just knew that tuna worked to take off body fat. And so we said, man, well, what are we going to do about this? And so I went to, I forgot about this. So we knew that we knew how to do it. We knew how to get rid of body fat by taking tuna, but we didn't like it. And I had a friend who made a product that we call out here in the West Stevens Gourmet Chocolate, and it tastes great. Not good for you at all, but it tastes so good you don't care. And so I went to Steven, and I said, Steve, you got to do me a favor. He said, what do you want, Larry? And I said, I want you to make me a product that has ratios like tuna, and it tastes like your Stevens Gourmet Chocolate. And he said, tuna? And I said, yeah, tuna. And he says, yeah, right. And he didn't even say yes or no. He just walked off. And I thought, I don't know. A couple of 3 months later, he came over, and he plunked a big sack of something on my desk. And he says, there's your product, Larry. And I said, what is it? I'd forgotten all about what he was going to do, or what I asked him to do. And he said, that's your ratios. And I says, I opened it up and, is this good for you? And he says, it's got your ratios and my flavor. I says, that's perfect, because it has ratios just like tuna, 13 to 1. You can't find a better ratio than tuna, and that's why tuna strips fat off your body.
So first, let's figure out the number of calories that you need to lose weight, because it doesn't matter how hard you're training, because if you don't cut your calories back enough, you won't lose body fat. Select a diet that is similar to the calculated calories that you determined that you needed in order to lose body fat. Remember, if you vary the diet either up or down, or just for variety's sake, keep your balance of protein, fats, and carbohydrates, because that's the key balance to lose body fat. Remember, the key to progress is getting your body to release the chemicals that cause your body to burn fat.
in order you to flex muscles hard enough in the midsection to burst the fat cells so you can freeze it for energy, you got to have strong B vitamin, because that's the food for the nervous system. And in general, why do you need those vitamins and minerals? Because it boosts your energy, stimulates the immune system, reduces free radical damage, assures healthy nerve tissues, and initiates over 60 different needed enzymes. And that may not sound too important to you, but one of the reasons why you need minerals, most of the time you get a multivitamin product, if it doesn't have the minerals are the traffic cops of vitamins. If you just eat vitamins without the proper minerals, and when you eat a vitamin, your body says, oh, okay, where should I put this? Where should I send this vitamin? It's the minerals that are the traffic cops. They say, you go there, and you go there, you go there. If you don't have the minerals in it, you get maybe 30% of the efficiency out of your product. Once you got the vitamins and the minerals in it, in these quantities, then you get more out of it, and it makes it much more effective for you. So if you have a hard time losing body fat, don't spend any more money on fancy supplements without first building a powerful foundation of B vitamins. When you're young, you want big arms. When you get to be my age and middle age, you don't care about big arms, you care about a flat stomach, and that takes strong B vitamins. Little known to most people, when a mother, any kind of a mother, even human and non-human, when they give birth to a new baby, their milk is filled full of insulin-like growth factors. These insulin-like growth factors called IGF-1 and IGF-2. And like I say, the milk is filled full of these little devils, and they cause you to grow. Let me tell you how they do their magic. First, they speed up the rate of which amino acids are synthesized. Then they slow down the rate of amino acid degeneration. And that's why a baby sometimes can double their body weight in just a few months. And they work that way on a bodybuilder. When he's training hard and using the right nutrition, you'll see yourself change faster than you believed you could.
The first set is your growth hormone amplification set. You do it slower, and that increases the intensity. Actually, I mean slow in terms of the amount of time you take in the reps. And that slowness actually increases the intensity tremendously. That's your first shot of GH. Your second set is a totally different type of intensity. In this one, it's a power set. You're using as much weight as you can to where you barely make your last rep, say your 6th or 8th rep. And then your third set is again a change of intensity. And on this one, you're going to pain failure. You're using a lighter weight, and you're going to where you cannot do any more because of the pain. And those changing intensities make a big difference in how much progress you make, how fresh and fun it is, and makes the program a lot more progressive.
The key to getting bigger is maximum pump and burn in the least amount of sets and reps. So you're always after the maximum pump.
Okay, now let's talk about motivation. There's a fellow by the name of Charles Coonrat that wrote a book called The Game of Work. And in this book, he reported on a discovery that he made that people like to play for a specific reason, more than they like to work. And he found that the reason they like to play is because there are specific goals that you have to shoot for, and you know whether you get them or not. You know whether you're winning or losing is the main thing. Because, for example, when you're putting, you know whether you get the hole or they get the ball in the hole, and you know when you shoot a basket, you know whether you get the ball in the hoop, and so you know whether you're winning or not. And we need to do the same thing to your workout program, so it gives motivation to it, and they're your goals, they're your own personal goals. And so I want to show you how to personalize the program with your own goals. The first step is to personalize the program so that it's your program. So what we want to do is figure out the reference lifts that you're going to be using, the weight you'll use on each reference lift. And from that, you take that weight and you plug in the correct weights on your exercise program. And that makes it yours. I mean, then it's personalized, and it really adds motivation to the program. First, what you want to do is test your strength on each reference lift. How much weight you can use for 6 repetitions. If you're training by yourself, that's a little hard. So you might want to do maybe 4 repetitions and figure that then you could do 2 more reps if somebody was there. And then that becomes your maximum weight on that reference lift. Does that make sense? See where it says close grip incline barbell bench press? Right next to it, it says percent lift, 50B. This means the weight you should be using on this exercise is 50% of the weight you used on your B bench press reference lift. That's what the little b after the 50 means. In other words, if you use 200 pounds on your bench press reference lift, you'd use 100 pounds on this exercise. That makes sense? Okay, go through and do the same thing on each exercise. Remember, the first set is your intensity set, the second set is your power set, and your third set is your pain set. White muscle fiber requires these changing intensity levels because that's what makes them continue to grow by causing your body to chemically release all those growth hormones. That's what makes this system work so well. But red muscle fiber is different. It requires a totally different way of training in order to make progress. Things like deltoids and abdominals and calves are trained quite a bit different than these changing intensities. So pay close attention to that when you're actually doing your workout program. We've got aerobics at the end of each anaerobic training session. Don't forget to do your aerobics. Aerobics are very important to burn body fat. To begin with, you may not be able to do 20 minutes to start off with, so work up to it to where you can finally handle your 20 minutes. But don't eliminate them because, as I said, aerobics are very effective for helping you to burn body fat. I want to encourage you to set goals each month because that's what adds your motivation. I can't tell you, I use this program myself exactly in my own training. And to see my weights written down each day when I go into train adds so much motivation to your program. I don't know how to put it into words. You have to feel it and see it to just experience how much more motivation it gives you.